Here I am.
Okay, here everybody's coming. Okay, okay, I guess everybody's coming. So if you want, Frank, you can continue.
Okay, so we're talking about the butterfly effect and whether or not one person can change the world. So it's being clearly established one person can change the world. Not necessarily in a good way, but this could also happen in a good way. Okay, and look at history. There's certain people through history that definitely change the world. I mean, for good sometimes, for bad. All right. Now, you know, just like one person changed the world, also one little event in your life can change the world. I was telling you how I met Alex, and that changed my life. I was telling you how I met Carlos, who's my current boss, and he actually changed my life because he persuaded me to move here to Charleston, and so on. And clearly, for some of you who are parents, once you have kids, they change your life for good. That's it. It's not going to be the same ever again, right? And my daughter changed my life too, and that's been important, and it's a good change. All right, I love being a parent, even though it's not easy. Nobody will say it's easy. All right, and I met Juliana, and I know what kind of relationship he has with Ernesto, but you know those. I think being a parent is the most important thing. Your kids are the most important thing in your life. But think about how they came to be. Um, it could have been, well, clearly you have a spouse and you met that person and it was a smile and a chance encounter that happened to me and never expected it and boom, it changes your life. All right. And, goes on and on with that. All right. But now that happens also professionally. Okay. So I have chance encounters with many people that you will think, well, I don't have anything in common with this person, but you meet a person and you start talking, and all of a sudden you get new ideas. You might become even friends. You might even become collaborators. And it is important, to actually professionally develop networks, okay, of people that all right, because we're not here on this by ourselves. Whether you do financing, whether you do engineering, whether you're a professor, whether you actually work in sanitation, it doesn't really matter. You don't do it by yourself. Typically, we have to work as teams. Or, even if you work by yourself, in other words, let's say you're a writer, well, and you write a novel. In order for that novel to be successful, you know, it has to be well written and all that has to fulfill all of those requirements. But you have to find somebody, an editor, that is willing to actually support you. At the same time, that editor has to be part of an organization that is capable of commercializing the novel. And voila, maybe it will make it out there, and it will be successful. Okay. Likewise, the world has changed dramatically with the internet. Okay, and we need to be cognizant of that. I mean, social media is important. It's important how you actually project yourself in social media, all right, and how you make connections through social media. And it's crazy. Social media, it can be really crazy, all right. I there is a lot of craziness in social media, even coming from the president of the United States. So let's leave it like that. This is not about politics, all right. But it is important to actually use that media properly so that you can advance yourself and meet more people that actually think like you or can help you out, or even people don't think like you. And it's important to learn and to be aware people who might have the opposite of your views, okay, or disagree with you because hey, we can be wrong too. All right. So but it has to be used judiciously. I mean, sometimes you use it for entertainment. Everybody does that, but it can be also used for good things or for good causes, and that's important. Okay, so these are very interesting times. Now that we all in kind of quarantine one way or the other, we have a lot of time to think about ourselves and what we're going to do. Some people have been affected by this dramatically. Some people had lost family and friends due to this. Thank God. I mean, my daughter had the COVID, and she told me after it was all over, basically she didn't get sick or anything, just only lost her sense of smell. Okay, and and that was fine. And some friends of mine also had it, and they said, well, it wasn't that bad. I don't want to take the chance. I'm going to wait for a vaccine, okay, and see what happens. Thankfully, because of the internet, we can talk to each other still and get work done and learn, okay? Imagine if this thing happened back when I met Ernesto, when we had no internet. Back in 1985, we did not have any internet. You were lucky if you had a,
You have to use
and
letters at that time.
what's that?
You have to connect each other by writing letters, no?
Yes.
Letters.
Letters,
Yeah, letters
yes.
indeed.
That was the
Yeah.
way
Telegram.
to communicate at the time.
Actually, it's kind of funny because I was reading my old letters, and when Ernesto went back to Colombia, he wrote me a couple letters, and I said, "Oh wow, this is amazing." My friend wrote me, and all that. That was really cool. And it takes effort because you have to sit down and think about it and write it and all that, and then you have to put it in the envelope, go to the post office, send it out, and all that. Right now, you just pick up your phone and you can actually see Ernesto using WhatsApp, no problem. But it's amazing. But back then, it was effort to actually stay in touch with people. Now it is okay. And yet, Ernesto and I don't talk every day, only once in a while. We're still friends. It's like Ernesto is one of those friends that you haven't seen in decades, but next time you see him, it's like the last time you saw him. We're still friends, still cool. Okay. And all the folks that we hang out in Massachusetts, they were like that too. All right. And I met Juliana recently, and of course, it's Ernesto's daughter, so it was really good to meet her and all that. So
And Frank, sorry, Frank, and they already know Thomas. They already had a
okay
group with Thomas.
And I haven't talked to Thomas in decades, really, but I went to visit him in Germany. I think it was in '87, and there he was. I don't know, but we're friends on Facebook, so anytime I can talk to Thomas. I've been talking to Richard. I went to visit Ricardo, our friend from Peru. Remember him?
Yes, I remember.
So it's cool. It's good to be connected. All right. Of course, I assume all of you are on LinkedIn. All right. Yes.
Yes, we are.
So LinkedIn is very professional, and that's good because it's good to separate sometimes business from entertainment and all the other stuff. And LinkedIn is very resourceful as well in terms of what you can do and how to make connections, and that's very good, right? But back to the butterfly effect, little things like that, how you meet, and opportunities that you think are insignificant, they're not. All right. Like let me tell you a story that it stuck into my mind because it's pretty much exemplifies reinventing yourself. All right. You all know who Steve Jobs is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the founder of Apple. So Steve Jobs, he was a little bit temperamental, all right, and he was the business side of things. With Steve Wozniak was the engineer. He was the one that actually designed the apples and put it together with the chips and all that. So Wozniak was working with the Apple II, which is not a machine that did much. Everything was done by code. You entry in the computer, the code, and code comes in, answers come out. That's it, nothing graphical. Okay? And it was a pain. Actually, once upon a time, I used to have an Apple II. At the time, it was great. Basically, you hooked up basically what it looked like a computer / keyboard. You hook it up to your TV, and you can see things. And that was amazing at the time. Well, you know, and that's how Apple started with the Apple II. Well, Steve Jobs actually went to Xerox, all right, as a visit. And it was a visit that was highly negotiated, all right, because of course, all these companies were competing in the early days of the computer industry for new things. So actually, Steve Jobs sees that Xerox is developing this screen that is interactive. And there's this device on the side that you can move around a cursor and actually click on things and, you know, do graphics with it. All right, I'm talking about the mouse. Okay. Well, Steve Jobs got that idea and he could not get it out of his head. He said, "This is it. This is the future." Okay. That same day in the afternoon, he comes back to Apple and runs into Steve Wozniak's office. And Steve Wozniak is writing on some code for the Apple II. Jobs actually gets the machine, unplugs it, and throws it in the garbage. And says, "We're not doing this anymore." "What do you mean? Are you crazy? Been working on that code for weeks, man. I mean, the hell, you know, you're nuts." I says, "No, we're not doing that anymore." And you know, you're crazy. Why are you doing? Why you did that? Then Jobs explains to Wozniak, all right, what his idea is. That's the future of computing, and that's all we're going to do from now on. The past is in the past. And he says, "Well, how do we get there?" He says, "I don't know, but we need to get there. Otherwise, we're dead." Okay. And, you know, Wozniak was mad at Jobs for weeks. First of all, you know, they had this rocky relationship to begin with. And now he does this, all right, with no consideration for, you know, all the work that he was putting into the Apple II. At any rate, sure enough, Apple developed the graphics interface, Mac OS, and all that, that really set up, you know, the computer industry for years to come, the way it is now, if you will. All right, and he was absolutely right. Although he's forcing a reinvention of the company, all right, out of the blues, all right, just because he got inspired by a visit to this company that he thought that it will only make photocopy machines. The irony of the matter is Xerox never got, you know, into the computer industry to begin with, not in a strong way, okay? But, you know, later on, Microsoft actually got into it. And of course, they sue each other, all right? And actually, Xerox was also into that lawsuit, claiming, you know, infringement of intellectual property, that, you know, Apple Jobs actually copied the idea that came originally from Xerox. You know, the sad thing about it, and I read this last week, all right, the guy that invented the mouse, was somebody that, you know, it was an invention that he actually patented and everything. And he set up a company, and you'll say, "Oh, wow, that guy is probably a millionaire." No, the company didn't go anywhere. At the beginning, the mouse was not a thing. Nobody saw the use for it, okay? And, you know, his company actually went bankrupt, so he needed to reinvent himself, and he decided to actually work for Xerox. And sure, Xerox thought, well, this is an interesting thing. Let's get this guy a job. And well, lo and behold, you know, Xerox itself didn't develop it into a product for themselves. Steve Jobs did, because he had the vision. All right. So you're always looking for opportunities, but you need to have the vision, all right, to make it into something. You have to have perseverance. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices. Sometimes, you know, it's something that you feel in yourself. And, you know, one of the things I really wanted to do from now on is for you guys talk and tell me what drives you, where you want to be, where you want to go, all right, and how you planning to make that happen. I'll give you a warning that chances are whatever you think you're going to be in 5 years, it's not going to be that. It might be even better. It might be worse. Who knows? But, you know, it's usually plans don't go as, you know, what you plan doesn't go as you plan because numerous reasons. And sometimes it's a good thing. Okay. So I don't know. You guys talk. Let's start with Alejandra. Where you want to be in 5 years?
Well, but before to answer, I want to say that your professional life has been so nice, so interesting. So thank you for sharing with us this, because I am environmental engineer and you did a lot of the things that I want to do. Maybe make research, maybe found new things. That is one of my interests. And well, about myself, I also changed a lot my works. I didn't stay, or yes, I didn't stay for more than 4 years in a place. I don't know why, but maybe I found something in that you said, and it's because I want to learn more, and I feel like I didn't do it anymore in that point. So this is the reason, because I start to looking for a new opportunity, and maybe this is the reason. So, and about myself in 5 years, I want to start working for an international organization. That's my vision. I want to be a part of an international team. I am working for that. I am studying, I am moving, and I also believe in developed networks. So I am working in that. So for obtain the opportunity to be part maybe of the United Nations or a multilateral bank, because now I am working in a program financed by the World Bank and also the IDB. So maybe I want to work with one of these organizations, because I want to have the opportunity to have the experience like an environmental engineer, but in a wide area, not only in Colombia, but in maybe in Latin America, and well, I don't know, maybe in the world. So this is my dream at that point. Yes.
So have you made connections into those organizations? Have you met people and say, hey, I'm interested in what you guys are doing. Tell me more. That sort of thing.
Yes, well, I have a strong relationship with the people that is in environmental safeguards in both of the banks, because it's the people that I am working. So yes, I say them that I want to move forward, and well, I am looking for the opportunity, right? Yes.
Well, let me say a couple of comments about that, because it has to do with reinvention. All right. So I work for the government, and when I started working there, Obama was the president, and he was an environmental friendly engineer. Okay. And in fact, his environmental programs were funded and well thought out. And, well, things changed. So when the Trump administration came in, basically everything environmental was out the door. They didn't want to do anything environmental. They really didn't. And in fact, some of my colleagues at the Environmental Protection Agency, saw the darkest days of their careers. And in fact, some of them have to leave because of that. In fact, we did have several environmental programs, and particularly here in Charleston. So we purposely changed the name, eliminated the word environmental, because they were cutting them left and right. They were saying, it's environmental, it's not going to be emphasized, it's not going to be funded, out. So we have to kind of like, hide our environmental programs under different names so that, they could survive. And the warning was, well, things will change. We don't want to eliminate them. And sure enough, now the same folks are now having a party because they know the good things are coming to them. One of the priorities of the new administration is climate change. So all environmental programs are back online. All right. So being able to adapt, okay, and resilience is important. All right, all through this. So, but at the end of the day, you have to say, hey, this is what I really want to do, and you have to be happy with it. A lot of times you decide, well, I think that's cool. Let me try it, and you say, well, it stinks. I don't like it. Well, get out of it. All right. Sometimes you can because of money. You know, they're paying you a lot of money to do it. Well, money has that thing, makes you do things that you don't really want to do. You know, but you got to do it sometimes or not. You need to decide. Okay. Money's never been a driving thing for me. I mean, yeah, there have been tough times, but you know, I'm doing okay. You know, it's a means to an end. It's not the end itself. You know, if you know, I did what I did for my career because I like it. I like being a researcher. I like doing science. Okay, and I'm very happy with that. That's what makes me happy. So you all have to find out what makes you happy. If making money makes you happy, hey, good. That's fine. All right. Some people are like that. All right. Uh, I see sometimes what these people do, and I says, you cannot pay me enough money to do that. All right. Let's see, Nicole.
My
How
name
do
is
you see
Anna.
yourself?
My name is Anna. This is
Okay, but I see Nicole here on the screen. So Anna.
Nicole is my daughter,
Okay.
but my name is
Okay.
Anna.
Oh, you still need daughter's computer.
Yes, I'm using it right now.
All right. So Anna, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I would like to retire. Right now, I'm
Oh,
50,
that's good.
and in 5 years, I will be 57. So I will have the age to retire.
Oh, okay.
And I would
And
love,
what you gonna?
I would love to have my own foundation to help childs. That would
Oh,
be
that's
my
good.
dream. So I think after I retire, I would like to have a small no, a foundation that to help childs. So that would be my dream.
Oh, that's good.
But
Actually, helping children is.
right now I have two kids. Both of them are at the university, so I have to work for at least 5 more years.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you
I
know,
used
the
to be,
thing.
I have been a broker for 20 years, a broker in a brokerage firm. And
Okay.
this year, my company, I used to be a partnership in a brokerage firm, and that company was sold to Credit Corp Capital. Have you heard about it? Credit Corp Capital?
Yep.
Okay. So my company was sold to Credit Corp Capital, and right now I'm working for Credit Corp as a banker. So I have to reinvent it myself because I had been a broker for 20 years, and right now my work changed 100%, and now I'm start to be a banker, private banker. So my work is totally different. So I have to reinvent
You
it.
like it?
Yes, after 4 months of the change, I think I begin to like it, but it was a drastic change. But I think it would be nice, but it was very different. So I have to change my mind and to open my mind with a different situation, different clients. Everything was different.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Sometimes you get into something and it might be at the beginning it might be a strange world that you're not
Yes.
familiar with, but once you get the hang of it, it
And I think,
becomes, hey, why
and
didn't I try this before?
yeah, and at the beginning, I think most of the people, and same happened to me, try to resist to the change. They don't want to accept it. That we try to resist, and then when you accept it, you start to get along with the change and start to move on. So it was
Well, uh, one thing that it's amazing to me is how much training you get from the government as as management. So I'm part of management now. My official position is senior advisor, but I'm part of management. So one of the things that in a lot of training classes they insist all the time is change. Change is part of life. Change is difficult. Change, it could be a good thing. And as we work, as we supervise all the people, that's kind of it. We need to actually make them cope with change and how change can be, you know, used, all right, to reshape the organization, but also the person. Okay. I think that, you know, change is good, you know, because, uh, you know, if you keep doing the same thing all the time, even if you like it, you know, it makes you
Like
very narrow-minded.
like in a
Yeah,
comfortable zone. You start. I was working
exactly.
in a comfortable zone for the last 10 years, and after the change, it was kind of a stress for me, but it was also a challenging situation. So I have learned a lot of things about technology and new products and new company. So it's challenging for me, and that's very interesting. So you start to move on, and in a different way. And I think this is not going to be too big for me. I will achieve the goal to get along and get used to the new company. And I think I'm doing well right now.
Excellent. That's good. All right. Let's see. Noelia, you're on the phone, but you know, where you see yourself in 5 years?
Uh, okay, in 5 years, I want to have my owner or my owner business, and will have an opportunity to travel around the world because I like to travel. Um for me, the money is important, but I don't like to invest my life in make money. For me, it's more important to do things that I can feel happy, and I want to. No, I will to I will make an activities that I have time for myself. Eh,
Well, that's important. You know, in fact, as 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 you go older, you realize that money's not as important as having time to do the things that are important. You know, provided that the money's there. That's the thing. I mean, sometimes we have to work. We have to survive. We need the money to survive. I mean, there's no question about it, right? But even some people that are well off say, "Hey, I'm swamped with work. I mean, I have money, but I cannot stop working. I wish I had the time
yes,
to travel. I wish I have time to spend with my family." But you know, some people have created this device around themselves, particularly people that own their own business. Okay, and Ernesto can tell you better than I can about that because he used to own his own business. All right, and you know, basically, when you own your own business, you know, everything is centered around you, and you can't stop working. You know, like you know, if you own a restaurant or a place that you cater people, well, you open every day. You have to work like 14 hours a day,
Yes,
that
more
sort of thing. You
demanding.
know, it's crazy,
Yes.
and you know, you have to be sure that it's worth it because it's pretty difficult. Okay, same thing. I mean, in fact, I told you about Steve Jobs, and in fact, you know, he worked like crazy too. And you know, after he was in his later states of his life, you know, he says, "I wish I'd spend more time with my family. I wish I was nicer to people. I wish I'd spend more time with my friends or have time to have friends." Money, well, you get used to it, and you know, God knows I have all the money in the world, but I here I am. I feel lonely, and you know, I don't have friends and that sort of thing. And you don't want to be in that situation. All right. But you know, it's about making
Yeah.
a balance of things. You know, there's needs and wishes. Of course, you know, can't really tell what's going to happen in 5 years from now. All right. And also, you know, you guys might have a different perspective from Juliana. Maybe Juliana can tell us where she wants to be in 5 years from now.
Well, this is a very good question because 5 years ago I was asking myself the same question. And
Excellent.
now, yeah, because, well, when I graduated from school, I wanted to go to Universidad Nacional and study environmental engineer. But the thing is that I couldn't because I'm not that good at math and at physics. So the thing is that I have to rebuild myself. And now I'm studying, well, I'm finishing my major as a
Hold on. Yeah,
teacher.
time out. You know, you were not good at math and you were not good at physics.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna jump in with you. I'm not good at math and I hate physics, and yet I'm a scientist. And if you say you hate something, you blocking yourself, and you say I cannot do it because I hate it. Um,
Yes.
it turns out I was good at math. I didn't like it, but I was good at it. Good enough to, make it through university and graduate school. Same thing with physics. I was, not, I was okay with it, but basically I made it good enough. But guess what? Life brings you very interesting things. My PhD thesis had to do with math and physics. And I didn't decide to love it, but it was a tools for me to get to where I wanted to be.
Took the
All
risk.
right. Yeah, and well, it's
Or
never
lose the
risk. It's
chance.
one of those things that sometimes is a pill hard to swallow, but you have to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
But don't limit yourself. You think you're not good at math, but you haven't tested yourself. You don't necessarily have to love it, but basically, maybe if you get into it by a different uh, angle, and that's where having a good teacher, a good mentor, helps a
Yeah.
lot. Which is also another thing I want to tell you guys. Sometimes you get there by people that are capable of mentoring you. They see a potential on you, and they say, "Hey, uh, I'm going to advise you, I'm going to help you, and all that. I'm going to mentor you because I want you to succeed." And this is particularly important when you're young. Okay. So maybe you didn't have anybody to mentor you as in math and physics, but don't limit yourself. You have still a
I
lot to
agree with
go,
you.
and
Yes.
just math. Eventually, you will get there.
Maybe you have
Physics
to
too.
work harder in those kind of subjects so that you can do it.
Yes.
Yep. Exactly. Okay, so I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I really wanted to make that point. So go on.
Yes.
You did not have a good attitude towards math and physics, so you have to reinvent yourself.
Yes,
So
exactly.
go on.
Yeah, now I'm loving what I'm doing today. And I think that in 5 years, well, I would like to travel, yes, to go to Europe to do my specialization. But first, I want to acquire some experience here in Colombia. Um, Learning from my profession because teaching is very inspiring, and I think that is one of the most rewarded professions in the world. So this is very interesting, and here you have your most important example, that is my dad. You in your life you always are going to remember your teachers, so that's why.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. In fact, lo and behold, I always loved chemistry. And in my third year on high school, my chemistry teacher really wasn't that good. Then in the fourth year, it was even worse. It was only on my senior year in high school, he was excellent. He really changed my life. I love chemistry, but the other two guys really put it down. I really, didn't make it for me. So,
Yeah.
it's fine. All right, so we have about 6 minutes left. I was going to actually tap on Ernesto and where he wants to be in 5 years from now, but we're not going to have time for that. So let's wrap this up. All right. Uh, you guys have any questions for me before we wrap things up?
Questions? No questions?
Yes, I just have one question, and is when you talk about coastal resilience, is coastal about marine? Is
Coastal.
coastal? Okay,
Coastal resilience, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know what I'm gonna do about that, but you know, I'm supposed to record a video for 3 minutes. You know, this is how it works, right? My boss thinks, oh, you're the Marine guy, so this is coastal, so there you have it. And I don't know what is it about, but it is important. It's for the National Science Foundation. So I know that, you know, I don't know much about it, but I tell you what, by the time I have to record those 3 minutes, I will know a lot. So
Okay, thank you.
because
If you can share. Sorry.
I might ask you some questions yourself and see what you think.
Okay, thank you. It's because here in Colombia, we have a lot of trouble about coast and climate change and all this situation because we have a lot of people living into the coast, but it's living in the coast. So maybe I want to check this and maybe I can find something to do here. Thank you. It's because that.
No, and that's absolutely a thing. And it's not just in the United States or Colombia. It's most of, you know, about half of the population around the world lives in the coast. So they're thinking like, if in 100 years from now, the sea rises at 1 meter of its current level, there's going to have a lot of impact on exactly all those coastal communities. So how are they going to deal with it? And in fact, the city of Charleston that you see behind you, all right, has that problem. It's called the Low Country because some parts of the city are below sea level. So when we have high tides, some of the streets that you see there actually get flooded, and the police have to stop. Okay, you're not going to go there and all that because it's high tide or because it rains a lot and blah blah blah. So they have a plan to actually pump the water out of the city. Do that, and they've been working with the
city.
Hmm?
What's that city?
Charleston, South Carolina.
Ah, okay.
And you know, basically, the Dutch have been doing that for a long time because it's called the Low Countries, the Netherlands, because of that. You know, we call Charleston also the Low Country, and you know, it's the same problem, right? Same thing as New Orleans. You know, a lot of parts of the city are below sea level. So now with sea rise, when the sea rises due to climate change, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. So we have to develop, you know, projects on resilience and how we're going to actually deal with that.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question, only a little one. Have you ever touched a dolphin in your career? Because I really love, and I think that once again, I ask you the same question.
Yeah, you're going to get the same answer. I love dolphins, and actually there's a lot
Yeah,
of
you love
dolphins here in
them.
this. There's a lot of dolphins in this area. All right. And, you know, in the Cooper River that you see back there, you see them all the time. In fact, sometimes they jump out of the water. All
Yeah.
right. But have I touched them? No. I mean, have I seen them while I scuba dive? Yes. And they're not friendly. They don't like to be close to you. Only the ones in captivity do that because, you know, they've been trained
They
to
are
do
trained.
that. Right? Because
Yes.
people, they're trained to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily so good for the dolphins. So,
Okay.
anyway, okay.
Okay, Frank, we only have 1 minute left. So in advance, thank you very much. It was very interesting. You know, everything that you said, we loved it. No, so we only have time to thank you and say goodbye. And maybe in the future,
Okay.
we could get you into another forum. Okay, so please, students.
All right, no problem.
Right,
Also, any case, you have my email. So if you want to email me or whatever, feel free. It's okay.
Okay,
All right.
thanks
Thank
for
And,
your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank
Ernest,
you. It was
today is your
really good.
birthday? Today is your birthday, Ernest?
Oh yeah, happy birthday. Happy
Happy
birthday, Miss
birthday.
Bryce. I forgot about that.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Thank you. Okay.
Bye.
So,
Thank you for
have-
the forum, Ernest.
What?
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Frank. See you.
All right.
Bye-bye.